You know what's funny is you do some things and you're like, I just want to go and hang out in Bucharest for a month and, you know, nobody will ever see something. Oh yeah.
I've seen it like a bazillion times.
I swear to God, it is on a loop at home on Sky Movies every December. I'm like, doesn't matter if I've heard it for 10 years, that's what everyone is seeing. And I actually saw Sam earlier on, Ewan, and I was like, let's not bring that up. What can I do for you? Well, anybody got a question? Or you can just talk about Princess for Christmas, but I think DC would be pissed.
Can you talk about, like, as the season begins, where is she at?
Season 3 takes off very soon after the end of season 2, so you don't have to make a lot of jumps about what has happened to the characters in sort of a massive amount of time. So what's really good is it's very current. And so obviously for Lena, she's dealing with her ever-present mother issues, but more concerned for her is the state of mind of her best friend, because she does feel responsible for what she did with Mon-El and how much that's affecting Kara. So, you know, that's her main focus, because I think a lot of the times Lena sort of pushes her family issues to the back. She just doesn't want to deal with it. She's so used to them. So I think rather than having to deal again with, you know, her mother, her stepmother being, or adopted mother, so complicated, having disappointed her again, she's more concentrating on Kara.
So what do you wish the producers and writers bring the character this season? How do you wish the character to places you want to go that they haven't?
I'd like to see this season her interacting with more of the cast, you know, because I wasn't obviously in every episode last year, and it got sort of very, I started to feel really lonely because they'd all be having these great days and these great times, and, you know, I'd see all these pictures and I'd be like, So I'd love it if there's a way to bring Lena out and interacting with, you know, like I hardly have ever had a scene with Kyler or with Brianna, like, you know what I mean? So I'd like to be involved with the rest of them.
Kara and Lena have this really powerful friendship that fans have really strong feelings about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and so okay, well that answers my question. No, but you know, are you looking to develop that, and are you kind of aware of what some of these crazy fan expectations are?
I mean, I think no matter what show you do and no matter what relationship you have, fans have expectations of it. You know, like people have expectations of Melissa and Chris's characters' relationships. You know what I mean? So I'm like, whatever they want to write, I'm game for doing. But I think I feel so lucky that I get to play this role and to have an actress like Melissa to play with. Do you know what I mean? It's rare that you get that. And I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure that the producers weren't expecting it, because I wasn't signed for that many episodes, and yet here I am. So I think what's nice is that they've responded not only to how Melissa and I are together, but to how the fans like it, and how they're very intuitive and they're very involved in feedback of what they see online. So obviously they're responding to something. So who's still up?
Lena's very smart, but she's made some really bad decisions.
I feel like that's me.
Do you think, how's that going to affect her going forward in these first few episodes?
I think she's dealing with a lot of guilt, and a lot of the responses of what you're going to see comes from her dealing with the guilt of Mon-El, of really destroying the earth, of trusting her mother again, you know. And a main overriding aspect of Lena's character is she does feel guilty for being a Lutheran. Even without her ever done something, she feels family guilt. It's like, you know, Catholic guilt. It's the same thing. It's genetic. So, you know, she's still going to be dealing with that. I think that's always going to be a part of her character, and season 3 going forward, you know, that is something that is very prevalent in her mind.
Being a Luther, there's sort of this expectation that eventually she's going to be a villain at some point, right? Like everyone expects villainy from her. Do you see that dark turn being a possibility down the road?
I think it's a possibility in any character, and I think that's what makes a character engaging, is that there's always the idea that at any point they could go dark. I mean, you know, David could be playing a dark character, all of a sudden Jimmy Olsen could be dark, and that's what's interesting. And I know that because she has the last name Luther, that you have this notion that eventually she's going to end up being evil. And Lord knows I've played enough characters that started out and ended up evil, but that doesn't mean that it's going to happen. What's great about what Berlanti does and everyone else is that they've taken these very familiar characters from the comic books and they've created their own world, and so much so and done it so well that it's almost separate to the comic books. So it's on its own track. So who's to know? I mean, I might end up the savior of National City. Why not?
Thank you.